Welcome to Make TV on Your Opinion. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Your Opinion today. And today we'll be talking about how students react to examination failure. More when we come back. Thank you. Don't forget to like and share. Welcome back. My name is Lovely Carrie. Thank you for joining us once again on Your Opinion on Make TV. I am here with Amarachi. Thank you for coming on the show. I like your hair.
Thank you.
I wonder how many hours it took making this today. I hope I can sit to make this. Anyway, it's nice. Moses,
Yeah.
UBA, welcome
Thank you.
on the show. All right, how has it been?
Been nice. Been nice.
All right,
Thank you.
I like your shirt.
Welcome.
Cute. All right. Thank you once again for tuning in on Mate TV and on your regular program, Your Opinion. Keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also turn on your notification button. We also like to have your opinion. Yes, your opinion is important to us. Let's have your opinion. Just put your opinion in the comment section there, and we'll be glad you did. Thank you. All right. How students react to examination failure. Failure could be a daunting experience on students. What is failure in examination? Simply put, when a student cannot meet up the required examination standards, and that may be due to many factors. As may be due to many factors. Recently, a 17-year-old Kwara boy committed suicide over failure in his examination. It was because he could not be promoted to SS2. He was already in the senior secondary school, and yes, he was already in the senior secondary school SS1, but we don't know what happened. He failed and could not be promoted to SS2, so he hung himself on a tree, and that happened in Offa. Yes, the boy is a student of Offa Grammar School, a senior student, 17-year-old, according to report. So these incidents provoked or motivated today's topic on how students react to examination failure. Although some may not commit suicide, but directly or indirectly, they are affected. They are affected in a way. So that's what we'll be checking this morning. And first, we'll be looking at why students fail. Why students fail? Why do they have to fail examinations? And we go on to examine how to prevent failure, and also solutions. Yes, how to prevent. We're going to be talking about causes of examination failure. Yes, causes, and also the solution and the impacts, the effects on the students affected. Thank you. All right, Marachi, what do you think are the causes of examination failure? Why are students unable to pass the exams Why are they unable to meet required standards for success in their examinations?
Well, actually, there are reasons why students fail examination. Now, one of the major important im- one of the major reasons why people fail in exams is lack of adequate preparation. Students, some are just careless. They're just less concerned. Some don't even really understand what it takes. There are a lot of students that are not serious, let me put it that way, on seriousness, which leads to lack of adequate preparation. And examination needs proper preparations. Even if you've received the whole teachings, even if you have a good tutor, and then you've been properly taught, you still have a role to play. You still have to revise your book very well. You still have to read through the curriculum. You still have to understand, and in the course of studying, you try to understand the subject and then be able to answer any question that would come during the examination. But now we find out that there are a lot of students that are just unserious. They're unserious. All their mindset is I will maneuver it. Some they even go as long as procrastinating study times, revision times, reading. Some even wait till few days to examination, and that's so bad.
That's
Right.
can I,
Yes, please go
that's a
ahead.
very, very good point. Lack of preparation.
Yeah.
Some students, they wait till a week to exam before they start
Procrastination.
reading.
Before they start, yeah.
Some people, they after they've been taught, they don't go back to it. They just leave it. They feel okay. The one that the teacher has given to us in the class is enough, but it's not. You have to go back to read extensively. You need to make your own personal research.
Yeah.
So when you go back in class, you can ask your teacher questions, and it will bring about interaction, and you know more. Because it's when you ask, that's when you know.
Yeah.
If you don't read, you won't be like curious. I want to know this. I want to know this, and you ask your teachers. But it doesn't happen nowadays. Everybody just relaxed and waits till one miracle will happen. Yeah.
9 minutes.
Yes.
Brush up.
Thank you. Let's see. I believe there are still more reasons
Yes. There's,
why students fail
There
the
goes all of them.
examination.
there's,
Thank God you were a teacher.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Sure.
We have
We
talked-
also find out that some students also fail as a result of poor or inadequate teachers, like poor tutors that are not
Okay.
untrained teachers. Let me put it that way. There are a lot of schools these days that are not even government approved, and then these same students are to write the same examination that students that have undergone proper
proper
training,
thing.
cover the whole curriculum
Curriculum.
for the year and everything. They are to write the same exam. The WAEC is the same, the whole
Yes.
West African examination. So
Yes.
the NECO is so all this when a student is being enrolled in a school where they have unqualified teachers, poor tutors, or untrained teachers, it has a serious impact. I will use myself as an example. I hated mathematics. Anything that has to do, any subject that had to do with mathematics those days, I used to run away from it. Because of what? From time, we didn't have a good mathematics teacher in my secondary school then. At least in my primary school, at least we had the one that was average. She tried her best and expecting to do more in secondary school, and I came and jammed a copper. Imagine that, a copper as a mathematics teacher, and then it was so boring.
I think it's not about copper. It's
It's-
about the low quality teaching.
The low quality teacher, yes.
There are secondary school students who can teach well.
Yeah, definitely. So I discovered that it had not just only me, the whole school. We didn't
affected.
perform very well in mathematics, and it was so bad. And then it made me, I hated mathematics as a subject. Once it has to do with a lot of calculations, I will run away because I know I don't have basic knowledge and I was not properly groomed So I had to enroll for extra lessons, extra tutor, God get extra tutors at home, home teachers, home tutors to be able to come up to
Come on.
even manage to pass
But
my.
eventually, you studied agricultural economics.
Yes,
So
I
how did you do that? Because that involves
Yeah,
mathematics.
mathematics.
Yes, it involves
Let's
mathematics,
divert
but
a
not
bit.
really that. It's not a core mathematics.
Complex,
It's not a complex.
complex
It's more of
mathematics.
statistical
Mathematics.
Okay,
mathematics, and those
okay,
ones were so easy. I could
okay,
go over them. It's more of graphs, statistics,
okay.
and basically not really. I ran away from engineering because I can't even see myself studying and becoming an engineer because I
Okay.
can't. So what I'm trying to say is when students are not properly taught, when you don't have good teachers in
Teachers.
school that taught them, be able to give them what they need, it really affects them because life is easier when you have a good teacher.
Yes.
Even in your own personal studies, assuming you have a good teacher that taught you well in school, it will be easy for you to understand when you go back to even revise. But that time, as at that's my secondary school days, I would try to even go home to do something on my own. I would still find it very difficult because it was not well taught. It was not broken
No
down.
real good
And
foundation.
yeah, so that's it. That's one of the major reasons why students fail exam.
I still want to emphasize on low quality teaching.
Yeah,
You see, it's not just about teaching, but the quality of teaching and the materials being used.
exactly.
If instruction is just being abstract without materials to help the children learn, it becomes difficult to assimilate the subjects.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult for the student to assimilate, and if the teacher or the instructor is not grounded in the subject being taught, it may not be able to expound the subject matter to the
Yeah.
students to understand, and maybe only very few, like a few percentage of the whole class population
Understand.
will be able to pass. Will be able to pass. Like you talked about losing interest in mathematics
Yeah.
because of your experience. I think I also had that experience in my secondary school, the first secondary school I attended. The teacher only made us to cram and memorize the assignment. He gives us the same assignments he gives us in the class, we take home. He'll set the same thing in the exam. So I only memorize it. I pull down the same process, and I was feeling that I was
You're
doing
doing
well.
well.
Then I managed it through the junior secondary school. At least I was able to pass. I made it then. But when we got to the senior class, it was difficult.
Yeah, it should be.
It was difficult, and ah, coincidentally, we have this man teaching us again. And I told myself, I cannot continue in this school, so I had to change to another school where we had the school principal who is good at this subject. But then I had already missed the foundation,
Yeah.
and
Foundation
it
is basic.
was let although let me tell you, my first attempt I failed mathematics. I failed it woefully, but later I had to sit. I took my time to study. I wanted to know what's the problem with mathematics. I have now developed phobia for it, that I don't even want to think. So eventually I was able to sit. I was getting mature. I was able to sit, study it, started from the very scrap, challenged myself, and I was able to rewrite it later, and I got it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
I got
That's
it.
good.
So low quality of teaching causes failure, and where there are no materials, teaching materials, if teaching is just abstract, students may not be able to understand the concept of the subject. All right, still more on
Courses.
causes of examination
failure.
failure. Why do students fail?
Well, another cause is lack of proper understanding on a particular subject.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Because in my school days, We had in class. I was in science class, so mostly sciences they are good in mathematics, physics, chemistry, all those stuff. And there's this one very guy. He's very good in maths, anything maths. But do you believe, as good as that guy, he what made him repeat was English.
Hmm.
What?
What made him repeat the class was English. Just that one English. The rest he finished, he cleared everything, but just that one English. Now, what was the problem? From home, from home, they don't. When before you can pass English, you need to learn how to speak. You'll be able to communicate. It's what you are like writing later. Is when you can communicate. That's when you can write. So he had no. He's just speaking Yoruba and all those kind of things. But he was good in other ones. So just that one subject failed him. Same thing with other subjects as well. And what are the causes? You might have a hatred for a teacher, or you don't like the teacher because the teacher is bullying you or always beating you or something or teasing you. Once you have hatred for that teacher, there is no way he or she can
Understand
impact
what he or she is saying.
in your life.
Yeah.
There is no way. So automatically you're failing that subject.
Yes.
And even during our time, after the guy came back and everything, we were blessed in our senior secondary school. Our English teacher was a WAEC marker. She marks WAEC. So when she was training us and telling us how to do these things in WAEC, she gave us everything. And thank God we were the best in our district then, in English, because she gave us the real detail, what we need to know.
The examination
Rules
rules.
on how to pass it.
Yeah.
So
Rules.
we were not like reading
Random.
randomly, but she just gave us do this, do
So
this, do
some
this, do
students
this.
actually fail sometimes because they don't understand the
Stand
examination
rules
rules.
as
And
well.
just go ahead.
They just
What
ask
is the
them.
examiner looking for
Yeah.
in this exam? It's not as if they are dull
Yeah.
as it were, but they don't understand the examination rule. What is the examiner looking for?
Looking for, like in chemistry now, when you're making your table, you don't cancel. You don't make any changes. Once you're writing your table, it must be neat and clear. Any cancel, your mark is being reduced. Not all students know that.
And not all teachers.
And
And that's the
And those,
problem.
it's not as if you don't know what you're doing. You know
Yeah.
what you're doing, but those
Yeah.
little things affect. So
Mm.
not having that interest in a particular subject, it makes one fail.
So loss of
Interest
interest,
in the
and
particular
quickly
subject.
we are able to also detect that
Yes.
lack of information on examination,
On examination
rules.
as well,
Yes,
examination
can cause
rules.
failure because you may be writing you may be writing out of points. Yes.
I
We
think
yes.
actually we also find out that some reasons, another reason why people fail examination is they not really that they are not brilliant, not really that they are not prepared. Maybe they've read, they have ready, they are prepared, and then you find out that some students they just unnecessary fear, examination fear
Phobia.
or phobia.
Ah,
And then once they enter there,
exam sickness.
some people towards the exam period, you see some students falling sick.
I
And
did.
then-
I felt sick
Oh,
too.
it's okay.
Right, my
So you're one of them.
physics, chemistry.
And then
Those were the two first papers,
I
practicals. I couldn't read as I was there present. But
I experienced
could
that
not
during
read
my
it.
campus days, during my this thing.
Very
my
sick.
During my tertiary education, I actually found out that there's this subject, and what made me to start fearing the subject was the course actually was because of the man involved, the lecturer. The way people used to talk about body passes the subject, this.
Okay.
It's the whole preparation, and I prepared very well, honestly,
failed.
and I still failed it. Why? I went into the hall with that fear of this man is a tough man. Oh. They don't pass his subject to are you sure we'll pass like this? Even after the whole preparations. And then I go to the examination or question 1, question 2. I know all the questions. But then the answers were not coming forth.
Why?
Because my hand was just shaking.
Boom.
I was like, it was as if whether I was just a manipulation or what, I don't just know.
You're blank.
But I know I went blank. With the whole preparation, just that fear alone, you raised everything. I was just there. It was towards I think, few minutes to submission. That was when I started writing.
And were you able to finish it?
I failed the course. I
Carry
couldn't
over.
finish
Carry
it.
over.
I carried it over. I have to confess. It was a serious matter. It was not funny at all. And after that time, I didn't allow that kind of fear to take over me again in the examination hall. And the next time I did well. I passed the subject very well.
Right. Some students are overconfident.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good to have confidence. You have read and you are confident. Then students should be aware that there is a thin line between confidence and overconfidence. When a student is overconfident, it tends to lose sight of the rules it's supposed to look at. It tends to skip the important questions in the important instruction in the examination question. And of course, the examiner will not say, because you did not understand, what in it is the right answer. So a student who is overconfident just see a familiar question and just go ahead to attempt it, without necessarily looking at the clause
Sometimes
in
even
that
take time
examination.
to go through the instructions.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Because your mindset is
they
that
just
you know what
see
they
this
want.
question, a familiar question, without going through the instruction. There is a specific clause in that question, so they don't take time to check. And of course, if you didn't give the examiner what he wants, of course.
It happened recently. The last one they wrote.
Okay.
Normally when there are certain questions, they put the compulsory one at the number 1.
Okay.
But this one they put it at number 5.
The
So
compulsory
yes, the
one
compulsory
said
one
number
that
5
with
is
highest
compulsory.
with the highest mark at number 5, and most people like facing that number 1. Most of them didn't even finish the number 5. So you see what reading of instruction can save you. Most of them are there, and that number 1 was like 5 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks. But the number 5 was carrying the whole mark, and most of them.
This is not only about college or secondary school.
It's general.
A lot of students also carry this over to higher institutions,
Yes.
to university. They carry this over, and you see someone collecting extra sheets. He's collecting extra sheets, and you are writing. You know you're getting your points, and you see someone collecting extra sheets, and you tend to question yourself: Am I writing the right thing at all? But eventually, you that use just the scripts you are given, you end up coming out with high GPA on that course, and the other person who got extra sheets most likely has nothing. That some students don't know how to summarize their question where they need to summarize. They go out of point. I think that is where the use of English come in. Yes, the language of instruction. Many of them don't understand, and if you don't understand the language you use that was used to communicate the instruction to you, you may fail. All right. And then there are lots of distractions these days for students. Social media. Yes, everybody is on social media. Unlike our time, there was nothing like social media like that. We're not on Facebook. We're not anywhere. But now, all of them, some of them still go to. There were still distractions. So it's even worse now with social media. As you're on your phone every now and then. then we were not even allowed to even watch TV like that. But now they are given free, and even if you don't watch TV on your plasma screen, you can watch it on your phone. Many of them are on TikTok. The other day I saw some students around my house dancing on TikTok. That's what many of them do these days. So friends are also distractions.
Yes.
The time you're supposed to be reading, they come together.
Let's
They
go
come,
play
they
game.
play.
Let's dance,
Yes.
That's true.
go out.
Yes, and many of them do compare themselves to their friends. They don't know that everyone has different assimilation level. Our intelligence level is different, so many of them fail to understand their level. That time that friend you're going out with may just read once and it's okay, we get it.
Even in
Then
class,
you be your own ability is to read all over and all over again.
Before you
That's
date.
why when we were in school, we have some students who will go to nightclub. They will go and come back. They will still
and
pass.
they'll pass.
It's not as if they did any fishy thing. And we have some who will follow them who will fail woefully, who will fail woefully because they did not have time to read. So we have different assimilation levels. Some have to read all over again. And for me, that was the first thing I discovered. That yes, although I'm brilliant, but I know my reading ability. I don't read as they stretch the way others read. So 2 weeks before resumption, before registration, I'm already in school. As I then I don't even have money to buy the under, so I borrow and start reading and start jotting and start jotting well over time. So when the examination time arrives, I don't soak my leg in water like others. I don't. At that time, I'll be sleeping. Yes, I sleep at that time because at that time my brain needs rest. Your brain
Yeah.
needs rest at that time.
Yeah.
That time, students want to pour everything they have not been
Everything.
doing from the beginning of the semester at that
Put
time.
that-
At the end of the day, you put everything, then you get to the exam or you start to spark. Then you start misplacing the question. One day I tried to do night reading like others, but I got there, I was discouraged. There were a lot of things going on where people were reading, so I decided I won't go again. So the method I use is once before the beginning of the semester, I start reading, I start jotting, go over jotting, go and I start doing my assignments.
Research.
So by the time examination is going on, I'm getting fat. And when I get home, people start asking me, "Are you sure you're writing exam?" Because what they believe is that period you need to soak your feet in water. I will make sure I sleep well. And when I get to the examination, or I am calm, my brain is calm, and I'm able to write what I have read without confusing them, because
Yes.
I've taken time, given time to each subject, each topic, each course, and I'm able to separate them. And another thing is focus. That was my focus. Lack of focus can cause examination failure. That when I was coming into school, I already had this focus. And reason I never had a single carryover. I never had a single, even when I was having problem with the lecturer, I traveled and there was a test that was conducted. So the man didn't want to do the test for me, but I was still able to,
Meet up.
yes, I was still able to meet up on that course. So distraction and lack of focus is one of the major reasons why students fail. And again, when students are not properly guided to pick a course that is within their intellectual ability, they tend to struggle and fail. These days, parents want their wards or children to do particular course. Okay, many of them want their children to be medical doctors.
and engineers.
They choose careers for them. In the meantime, this is not their area of interest. So they keep struggling through the course and failing. Of course, that leads to failure. So in this regard, parents should learn or know the ability of their children and wards before giving them a course. They impose. Most parents actually impose a course on those children. We know that at that level, those students may not be able to 100%
Know what
be
they
able
want.
to decide the kind of course to read, but then you can guide them using their abilities, yes, using their intellectual abilities. All right, let's take a break and more when we come back. Thank you for staying tuned and your opinion on Make TV. We've been talking about effects of examination failure on students. If you are just joining us, I need your subscription, all right, to keep being on air, right? Thank you once again. We've been talking about causes of examination malpractice. Sorry, we've been talking about causes of examination failure. Yes, examination failure. We talk about low quality teaching,
Yeah.
lack of focus,
Lack of interest.
lack of interest,
Yeah.
not having enough materials, lack of interest, and also procrastination, laziness, okay, distraction, all right, and lack of information on examination rules. All right, good. Okay, so right now we want to know how how um
It affects them.
how students react. How students react. How does it affect them? How do students react to examination failure? Of course, we have some who are just indifferent about it, maybe because of their upbringing, but there is definitely um, a negative impact on a student who fails. Right? So, right now, let's look at the effect of examination failure on a student. Like that child, that 17-year-old Quara boy committed suicide. The boy must have been going through depression.
Yeah.
The boy must have been going through depression, and that's maybe due to a lot of factors. It may not just be because it's not being promoted, but there may be other things, ranging from the way his parents treated him, the way the teacher. Let's talk about it. The way the teachers treated. Do you think that a student will just go ahead to commit suicide just because he wrote examination and failed? He was supposed to be going to SS2, right? We are in summer now.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in August now. Schools, we just finished a session right now, and after this long break, long holiday, students are supposed to go to the next class. So the exam that he wrote, he sat an exam and failed. It was to repeat
The class.
a class. It was to repeat a class, so he decided to end it all. He ended his life. He was found hung on a tree. Yes, he was found on a tree. He had committed suicide. So, what do you think could lead to a student wanting to commit suicide? This is not the first time students are repeating. Pupils, if you didn't perform well, you repeat. And in the meantime, this is not even a terminal class.
Yeah.
So why do you think that boy will go and commit suicide just because he is unable to promote to the next class?
There are many things involved.
Yes.
Okay, tell me one.
No, I believe criticism from parents and family. You know, from being after feeling from school, you take your report card, you see that repeat. The way your teacher will start treating you and you come to the class and everybody the same thing, it start building up depression. You feel you feel not accepted again. That's it. Then you get home and you show it to your father, to your mother. That's another problem. Now, where parents fail is they don't tell the child you can do better.
They don't
They
encourage
don't
them.
encourage
They
the
only
child.
berate them.
They just say, look at your big head, coconut water, nothing in it. You can. Then they start comparing themselves, comparing the son with other ones. That are they having two heads? The person that carry first, yeah. So that thing alone. And if somebody that is not emotionally stable or strong, he might do anything to himself or even to the family. I feel criticism from the parents and families.
Yeah,
All right,
that's a
Marachi,
very.
what's your view? What's your opinion on that?
I feel this
Why will he commit suicide just because he's unable to promote to the next class?
is there is more to it than just failure and that he failed exam. I feel he must have been depressed. It should have been maybe as a result of the criticisms, the feeling of insufficiency, inferiority complex. It should have. I think it's affected him emotionally. Maybe he was feeling so depressed and like, what then why am I now living? You know, when you feel like a nobody before
Everybody.
your friends, your family, and then you know
They
you
make
feel
you-
like a
It's the end of the end of,
It's
it's the end of the world.
of
Of
it.
the world.
And then criticism must have been part of it. They must have been mocking him, criticizing him, and then parents that should have played a good role at this point.
To
I don't
bring him
think
close.
they did what they encouraged. I don't think they did. It's like the more heat is coming from home
Yeah.
for him to think of, committing suicide like the best solution to this problem. And then he must have felt that because of that depression, he must have felt isolated. He must have been isolated. He must have withdrawn himself from the family and friends, and then life was not making sense to him any longer.
And for him, the only way he could react is just to commit suicide.
Suicide.
Because nobody is encouraging, and most likely this kind of students have been failing.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's a repeated cycle
he
of
has.
failures. Yeah.
Yes. He has recurrent failures,
Mm.
and maybe this time around, his parents may have berated him
Yeah.
and maybe accused him of being a nobody, a
Good.
non-entity. How he's been
Good for
wasting
nothing.
wasting their
Wasting
money,
resources.
and they might have also threatened that if he fails this time, they will withdraw him. And he may be this kind of child who wants to do more educationally,
Yeah.
who has friends around, who are aspiring to be medical doctors and lucrative professions. Right then, failing this way, and he might have been trying his best.
Yes.
Yes, he might have been, this kind of child might have been struggling with his education, and nobody is helping, because some students would not even raise an eyebrow. Okay, I feel that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Do it again. In fact, most children who even fail like that have come to see it as the order of the day. They don't bother about
They
it.
don't bother. Yes.
So I will feel that his environment has a lot to do with this.
Yeah.
Some students are failing. They have tried their own efforts, but our society don't encourage. Our society don't encourage. Once you see someone failing, all you do, you just start to you mock them, berate them. Nobody comes out to say, okay, you have tried in this area. You have, after all, you tried in this area. I'm not sure that boy failed in all the subjects. There will just be one subject
Yeah.
that he was able to
Yeah.
do something that will make someone to be able to
Promoted.
no, not necessarily be promoted, but be encouraged.
Yeah.
Okay, if you do this, then if you do this, then you can do better next time. And the parents, even though I am not saying that parents should not scold their words or children for failure, but after doing that, you should you should encourage them.
Yeah.
You should celebrate them. Let them know they can do better and look for how you can help them. If it means getting a private tutor, get him a private tutor. Let him know that he can do it. Let him know that it's not the end of the world. Then help him to identify his areas of weaknesses.
Weakness.
Yes, let him, if he's not studying well, if he's been distracted, if his problem is language, help him to learn English language. Help him to learn English language. Then from there, it will improve, right? So that his own reaction to examination failure was that he committed suicide. While some may not commit suicide, they may become isolated.
Yeah.
They become isolated.
They
They
just
just
sit
feel
at the
that
back.
there is nothing good about themselves. They don't want to associate with anyone. Always in their room,
Just
right?
stay,
And most time, this suicidal thought comes from being alone and
Isolated.
being
Yes.
isolated.
Being isolated.
Yes, being alone. So such just be okay. I can't do well, especially if it has been a constant failure. I can't do well. They become isolated, and not only being isolated. Ironically, they can become aggressive.
Yes.
Some may not just be isolated, just because of the thought of failure, can become aggressive. Look at that boy in Chicago who went shooting in the schools.
school.
Yes, he was a failure in school, and his grandmom, according to the story, we keep reminding him
Failure.
failure, most likely comparing him with siblings. And then before you know it, he got angry,
yeah.
went shooting students, although he was eventually killed. So he has been depressed for not being able to do well in school, and that was how he could react. It has become a psychological issue that he had to go to the extent of shooting and yes, committing murder. Right. So, what other things? How do you think generally? Let's look around. These we students are on holiday now. Some of them are on holiday school. This from your experience too as a teacher. How have you seen students reacting to examination failure?
Yeah, some feel they can't do. In fact, they can't do well. Some just accept
Accept
this
Some are-
mediocrity.
And some are already used to it.
Yeah, some are used to it.
Some are used
I
to
have
it.
some in my class. Yeah, if in fact in the class, the middle class, the middle.
Of course, we
you know.
always have
So-
students like
so
that.
there are some that are comfortable in
With feeling.
that mediocrity mindset level. This is my level. I will remain there. They don't even do anything extra to. After all, my teacher would always say, "This person is better than me." This person, oh yeah, take it to. Whatever they are calling for the best in class in school. They themselves they know they can't be called, so they've already classified themselves, and that's very bad. That's where this mediocrity mindset sets in, because as a result of maybe failures and criticisms and the depression and all that, it makes them to settle for less. Their own, let me even manage and pass. If I pass, I'm okay. And then you see them going on that way. That's where indifference comes in. They become indifferent about failure. Once I manage to pass, I'm okay. And it's also a very wrong. It's a bad effect. Seriously,
You know,
it's a bad effect.
also our environment. Our environment.
We're still talking about the effect.
Yes, the
Effect,
effect. Yes,
Okay.
the environment. In some environments, it accepts them that way. Like let me see, my area. Then, if you fail, nobody will like want to ginger you to do good, to like study a book. You understand? In an area where everybody are failure, everybody are like, if you fail today, then the slang we use then, you chop beans. That's if you have any F or you are repeating.
Why the chopping of beans? What has
That's
that got to
that's
do
no,
with?
that's the slang we use then. You
Okay.
chop beans. That means, are you repeating?
Okay. Okay.
So I used to say, I chop beans. So
And then there
this
are
one say I
some
chop beans. So it's like a normal
a
thing.
normal thing.
A normal thing, and they don't feel remorse about it.
Even the environment
Even
encourages
and the
it.
environment now encourages it. Now you, when they see go out there and they see people making it, they don't use, most of them don't use the education to make it. You don't see a big allergy with many cars and everything. He doesn't even really know how to spell his name, but you are seeing him driving many cars. So they, with the environment and the society, they feel they don't even regard the education as
And
anything.
then that might also be because there's no proper reward.
Reward system.
Success.
Thank you.
For
No
success.
proper
Yes.
reward. Someone
Especially
comes
in
out
this
with
nation.
first class and is getting 10,000
10,000.
naira.
And the handshake.
And a
And
handshake. And a
Congratulations.
handshake. So that is not encouraging. So such students are not
No challenge.
challenged. They are not motivated to do more. And schools, what do school gives? Exercise book, notebook, pen,
Umbrella.
pencil, But when a child comes first in the school and you organize yourself, if it means you make parents pay for it, give them something substantial.
Yeah.
If the first position has 100,000, second position 50, third position 20, you see, you will see if money, if the reward is monetary, the
Yes.
reward is money, everyone will want to
Yes,
get
like,
that
even the
money.
parents
Everybody
will
loves
push.
money. Everybody loves money. Make that reward, make it monetary. By the time you do it that way, the
Everybody will
child,
sit up.
yes, the child will sit up.
And I remember in my school those days, in my university, then if there was a time they made the rule that if you graduate with a first class in any of the departments, you'll be given automatic employment. And as long as that rule was on ground, people were getting employed immediately after their degree. But at the point they stopped it. So
There are lots of first class
now you
graduates
see
that
first-class
are unemployed,
graduates roaming around,
riding motorbikes and tricycles.
even,
Yes.
some people even feel like the education is now a scam, as in like waste of time and money and resources, because there's no proper reward. You see graduates not being paid, not getting employed as at when due, and then even if they will get a very low
Minimal.
income employment, and that's so discouraging.
Okay, in summary, how do we stop examination failure? Yes, our time is running out and we just have to summarize now. So how do we stop or how do we reduce? Of course, no matter what you do, there will still be some that will still fail.
Yeah.
But how do we reduce examination failure? What can we do? What can be done?
Well, I would advise parents to try to encourage their children, no matter their performance, no matter their ability, no matter the result they come back home with. Let them try to, as they try to caution them, let them also try to encourage them and make them know that they can do better. Okay, let them not compare, unnecessary comparison and then criticism. Let parents reduce that. It hurts children. It makes them feel like
don't compare them.
Yeah, the children
Then
don't like
use
to be
code,
compared.
don't just overdo it.
Yeah.
So berate them.
Don't be reading. And then they should also try to provide all the necessary materials the students need, children need in school. It's very important. Some students that are going to school, some parents don't even provide textbooks, notebooks. You see schools calling, begging, bring books now. The child doesn't have book and they are not concerned about it. And they want that kind of child to also come back with an excellent result.
Hmm. And school
So,
fees too
and
should be
school fees should
paid,
be paid
and
at,
tuition should be paid at the right time.
yeah,
Because if you don't pay at the right time, your child may be out of school.
yeah,
And how does he make up for those periods he has missed in school? So the fact that you don't pay and he misses school, you will still pay for it. So parents should therefore plan to pay their
their
words
fees.
fees on time before they are being embarrassed
Embarrassed and sent
or
out.
driven out of school.
Yeah.
But the embarrassment again
Is,
can even send some mental
yeah,
discouragement.
emotional,
Yes, emotional distraction from
yeah, for
the
the
studies
students.
from the students. Yes.
Well, another thing the parents should do at least, you can't read with an empty stomach. There's no how. There's no how you can read with an empty stomach, even
Mhm.
if you're determined.
Mm.
There's no how you can read. At least they should, if not the complete balanced diet, provide food for them. You'll be sending your child to school with 15 naira, and the child is to trek there
And drink back home.
and trek back home. We know the situation and of the country is bad, but try try your best to make them feel comfortable, because you can't I can't even to write exam you can't eat it to an empty you can't write to an empty stomach.
Yeah.
When you be thinking and your stomach you can't do anything with an empty stomach. Even to work productively, you can't do it with an empty stomach. So you have to eat good food, drink water, balanced diet. The eating good food helps the brain as well. Calcium, protein, it develops the brain as well. So when they eat good food, they'll be
Okay.
fine.
Balanced diets that can
Yes.
help the brain
The brain.
to develop right way. About rounding up, some students we have itemized points causes of failure.
Yeah.
Well, there are some students who naturally have maybe genetic disorders that's
Yeah.
causing them not to assimilate. So such children should be identified. They should be given a special education. And as a parent, it's okay, and as a teacher, to give your your words and children your expectation. Yes, is
Mhm.
okay, but then sometimes they cannot meet it because of some factors. Encourage them, all right, help them to believe in themselves, because success comes with one believing in himself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
failure doesn't mean that one cannot make it in life. It's just a process,
Part of the
right?
process.
Even as an adult, sometimes we undertake some endeavors where we fail,
Yeah.
but that's not the end of it. You fail, then
Rise.
you rise again. You
Keep
learn
going.
the way it doesn't work, then eventually where you are today, you've had some failures. You didn't just start right there as a success. So let's help the young ones to believe in themselves. Let's encourage them where it needs be. All right. Thank you. We've come to the end of today's discussion on your opinion. What's your take on how students react to exam? Or what's your take on the effect of examination failure
Failure.
on students? We like to have your comment in the comment section. Don't forget, please like and share so that you can always have our programs, our videos on your opinion. You can also like and share with your friends. Right? Thank you. See you again next time.